Well, back guys to Fog Racing. We are here today with another driver ratings for the Austrian Grand Prix. Let's not beat around the bush, let's get stuck straight into it. So we'll start with the team that's last in the Constructors, Alpine. Franco Colapinto. Guy just seemed to be like Yuki Tsunoda's punching bag this weekend. Getting pushed off the track by him, getting pushed off the track by Berman, getting pushed off the track by Stroll. Kind of just an anonymous man it was. And then the incident with Piastri was pretty bogging, so I will give him a 3 out of 10. Pierre Gasly, I thought he qualified well, and for whatever reason it just fell apart in the race. But is that down to him? Is that just down to the fact that the Alpine just isn't that good in race trim? It's crazy. Pre-season testing feels like a lifetime ago, because it was looking like they were going to be best of the rest alongside Williams, and for whatever's happened, Williams have nosedived off a cliff ever since Miami. And as for Alpine, they've nosedived. Like Bahrain, Gasly qualified 4th. And yeah, it did feel a wee bit extraordinary, but it didn't feel like the biggest shock ever. See if Gasly put it 4th now, man, you'd be like, what the fuck? Anyway, I'll give him a 5. Moving on to Haas. Esteban Ocon got, P10. Pretty good driver. I'll give Ocon an 8 out of 10. Berman, I'll give you a 6. Haas is just it's a weird one, man. They whip out shite qualifying after shite qualifying, but then they just somehow make it work in the strategy, so fair play to them. Moving on to Racing Bulls. Isaac Hadjar, I will give a 5 out of 10. Thought it was a pretty poor weekend from, especially considering how good his teammate did. Speaking of his teammate, he will get a 10 out of 10 for me. Finished 6th, beat some drivers that probably should have beat him. I think the Racing Bull was the best of the rest, definitely between them and Sauber this weekend. Well, at least that's the way it looked. So yeah, great for him. Moving on to Williams. I'm going to give Albon a 7, and I'm going to give Sainz a 5. Sainz was unlucky, man. Very unlucky in qualifying, and a lot of damage, and in the race was unlucky. As for Albon, he was running P6, folks, when he retired, so it would be harsh to downgrade him because of a mechanical issue, but at the end of the day, he didn't finish and get any points. Moving on to Aston Martin. What am I going to give Aston Martin? I'm going to give Lance Stroll I'm going to give Stroll a 3 out of 10, man. You know what, he didn't crash, but his fucking pace is a joke. See Aston Martin, it doesn't even matter how good they are next year, right? See, unless they're dominant, there is no benefit to having Lance Stroll, because at least if they're dominant and you've got Lance Stroll, it's like, well, you know, he can fend off everyone else. He's shite. Up next, Alonso, start at 11, finish P7. Obviously benefited from a bit of drama around him, but masterclass in defending yet again. So I will give Fernando Alonso a 9 out of 10. Up next we've got Sauber. Hulkenberg went from 20th to 9th. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Bortoletto qualified 8th, finished 8th. 6th was on the cards, man, but it would feel a bit harsh not to give the guy a 10 considering who he is and what he's been capable so far of doing, which isn't an awful lot. So, but yeah, he has shown glimpses, and finally across a weekend he's put it together, so hopefully he can build on this. I'll give him a 10 out of 10. That leads us into the top 4 teams. We'll start with Red Bull. Absolutely shocking, man. Yuki Tsunoda, 1 out of 10. No pace, taking people out, finishing last on the road, finishing 3 laps down. What is there to say? Well, this is what is there to say. When Max Verstappen retires from a race, there's nothing in it anymore for Red Bull, because they don't have anybody capable of doing anything. It's insane. Just the pure lack of speed that second Red Bull's got, and it's killed Yuki Tsunoda's career. It killed Lawson's, it killed plenty of other people as well. And maybe a new regulation will get rid of the problem that they've got with the second Red Bull seat. But folks, I wouldn't be surprised if this problem continues into a new regulation of cars. I mean, I think it is more likely that it doesn't than obviously previous years, but 1 out of 10 for Tsunoda. Unfortunate. And that brings us on to Max Verstappen. Qualified 7th and got took out, but you know what? Why did he get taken out? Because he qualified poor. I'll give Max a 5. I think the Red Bull was a lot better than 7th. But Gasly did spin in qualifying and fuck a lot of people, but he should have did better on his first lap. I think that's safe to assume. Moving on though to Ferrari, Hamilton. Started 4th, finished 4th. I mean, Ferrari was the second fastest car, but they were that far ahead and that far behind McLaren. It was kind of like a 2-horse race. So he did the minimum for me that he had to do, but it's still better than what it has been for Hamilton, so I'll give him an 8 out of 10. As for Leclerc, started 2nd, finished 3rd. I mean, the McLarens were unbeatable, but Ferrari should have rolled the dice. Should have done something. They didn't. And Leclerc didn't exactly help his chances at the start of the race. Now here, would he have stood a chance if he got past him? No, but at least if he got past Norris at the start, that could have offered like a different strategy. Like an undercut or an overcut, because there would have been less seconds lost. But for whatever reason, Ferrari, I don't know, man, they've lost all the ruthlessness they once had. They don't do what they used to do back in the 2000s, which is win and be ruthless. But yeah, anyway, less said about that probably the better. Moving on to Mercedes, Kimi Antonelli. Not the greatest qualifying, and it's a pretty bad mistake. I'll give him a 2 out of 10. As for George Russell, probably the most unanimous 5th place finish you'll ever see. I don't know what happened to Mercedes yet. It was warm around Austria, but it was warm in Canada and they won. So just an absolutely disgusting performance from Mercedes, but it was weird. He was keeping with the Ferraris, and then over like the last couple of laps, the first stint dropped off, was almost getting overtaken by Bortoletto, and will probably in a way be fortunate that he managed to get past the likes of Lawson and Alonso. Honestly, crazy how he just finished a couple of seconds up the road from that Demons, but mental. And that leaves with McLaren, Oscar. Well, actually, I'll give Russell a 7. Oscar Piastri. What will I give Oscar Piastri? I'll give him an 8. I think he bottled the win. Thought it was fantastic driving, right? But he got past him, and I don't think the defending was that good for Piastri the one time he overtook Norris. But the driving was immense. But that, if he overtakes Norris, man, and beats him, I think that's the knockout blow to Lando Norris's title fight aspirations. But that race has kept it alive, more than kept it alive. So I'll give Piastri an 8. As for Norris, a few mistakes, but he had to win and he had to beat Piastri, and he did that. So I'll give him a 10. Defensively, it was pretty much perfect, but obviously, like I said, a few mistakes crept in. Anyway, folks, that's it for your driver ratings for the Austrian Grand Prix. Leave your thoughts down below. Be back very soon with some more content, but until next time, peace.